Okay, let's just dive right into this because the 2026 World Cup is undergoing a massive, unprecedented expansion. We're talking 48 teams fighting tooth and nail for just 32 knockout spots. Welcome to this explainer. The stage is being set right now across Canada, Mexico, and the United States for a colossal 104-game tournament. And look, whether you're a brand new fan just getting into the sport or a seasoned veteran who's watched for decades, the sheer scale of this upcoming event is basically going to change everything you thought you knew about how the World Cup works.
So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the 48-team format change. Then, we'll get into mastering the mini-leagues. After that, we'll talk about breaking the toughest ties, followed by the third-place survival guide, and finally, we'll wrap up with the knockout gauntlet.
All right, part 1. The 48-team format change. A bigger tournament means entirely new rules.
To really understand why things are going to feel so different, we have to grasp the sheer scale we're dealing with in 2026. We're adding 16 whole countries to the mix. That is a massive influx of talent, and honestly, it fundamentally alters the entire geometry of the competition. Think about it. Squeezing 48 teams into a single elimination bracket requires building an entirely new phase. In the older, traditional formats, you survived the group stage and, boom, you immediately found yourself in the round of 16. But mathematically, you literally can't jump from a 48-team group phase straight down to 16, fairly. It doesn't work. So FIFA had to introduce a brand new hurdle. We now have a round of 32. It's essentially an extra layer of the pyramid that every single potential champion is going to have to survive.
Moving on to part 2, mastering the mini-leagues and the absolute battle for those top 2 spots.
So imagine all 48 teams arriving and immediately being split up into 12 groups of 4. You can think of these exactly like intense, highly focused mini-leagues. From Group A all the way down to Group L, you are solely focused on the 3 other teams in your specific pod. You play them each exactly one time. Now, if you're brand new to football, the math here is actually super simple. You absolutely want to win to rack up 3 points, but hey, a draw still keeps you moving forward by adding 1 point to your tally. A loss, that gives you absolutely nothing. 0. After everyone plays their 3 group matches, the top 2 teams with the most points in each of those 12 groups will automatically lock in their golden ticket to the round of 32.
Let's actually walk through a hypothetical Group D to see how this plays out step by step. By tracking this, you can see exactly how the points accumulate. Notice how Brazil and Morocco both won 2 matches and drew against each other. That earns them 7 points apiece. Down below them, Scotland managed 1 win against Haiti, earning 3 points. And unfortunately for Haiti, they lost all 3 matches, leaving them with 0 points and facing immediate elimination. But look closely at the top. Brazil and Morocco are perfectly tied on points. So who actually gets the prestigious #1 spot?
That brings us to part 3. Breaking the toughest ties. What exactly happens when points just aren't enough?
Right. So what happens when multiple teams finish with the exact same number of points, like Brazil and Morocco just did? Well, officials first look at the head-to-head result between the 2 teams. But since Brazil and Morocco drew their match 1-1, they're still tied. So they move to the next step, goal difference, which is simply goals scored minus goals conceded. Brazil has a +6 goal difference, while Morocco has +3. Boom. Brazil takes the #1 spot. Easy enough, right? Actually, scratch that. Let's look at a wild, chaotic hypothetical scenario where things are way more complicated. Imagine a 3-way tie. England beats Scotland, Scotland beats Ecuador, and Ecuador beats England, leaving all 3 of them deadlocked on 4 points. It's the ultimate rock, paper, scissors dilemma. You can't just look at head-to-head results anymore, because they literally form a perfect circle of wins and losses. This is exactly where the rulebook gets incredibly granular.
To solve this, officials have to isolate just those 3 tied teams. They completely ignore their matches against the 4th-place team in the group, and they step through these escalating criteria to find a winner. They basically create a mini-table strictly between England, Scotland, and Ecuador. First up, who has the best goal difference in just those specific matches? If, somehow, they all still have a goal difference of, say, +2, they move on and look at who simply scored the highest number of actual goals. It's this microscopic level of mathematical analysis that they have to use to find a winner when things get this tangled up.
But here is the absolute kicker. If goals still can't break the tie, FIFA's conduct score takes over. This means a single reckless tackle resulting in a yellow card could literally eliminate a country from the World Cup. It's called the fair play rule. Every team starts the tournament with a clean slate, and points are deducted for poor discipline. A standard yellow card is -1 point. A direct red card, that's -4 points. If the tiebreakers go this deep, playing overly aggressive football could be the exact thing that sends you packing.
And if absolutely everything else is identical, I mean, we're talking same points, same goals, identical fair play scores, officials will simply look at the global FIFA rankings to decide who advances. The team with the higher historical world rank is going to survive. It's the ultimate fallback plan, basically ensuring there's always a strict mathematical way to separate two perfectly equal teams without having to, schedule a whole extra match just to figure it out.
Let's move to Part 4, the third place survival guide, or as I like to call it, the agonizing wait.
Going back to our mini-leagues for a second, finishing third doesn't actually mean your tournament is over, but it definitely strips away all your control. Remember, the top 2 teams from all 12 groups automatically advance. Quick math, that gives us 24 teams. But a knockout bracket needs exactly 32 teams to function properly. We are missing 8 teams. So out of the 12 teams that finish third in the respective groups, exactly 8 will survive to fill out the 32-team knockout bracket. This dynamic completely changes the strategy of the group stage. 4 third-place teams will get to stay and continue their dream, while 4 are going to be sent packing.
To figure out who stays, officials take all 12 third-place teams from entirely different groups and stack them up against each other. It rewards a team like Bosnia, who scraped together 4 points in Group B. In this example, Bosnia's 4 points easily put them at the top of the third-place rankings. But look down at Korea and Scotland. They both have 3 points. So officials apply the standard tiebreakers across the groups, like goal difference. Korea's -1 is better than Scotland's -3, so Korea ranks higher on this master list. Ultimately, only the top 8 on this specific list go through. Now imagine the tension this creates. It's a wildly nerve-wracking dynamic. A third-place team might have to just sit in their hotel lobby and agonizingly watch other groups play on TV to see if their mathematical record holds up. For instance, if you're in Group A, your matches finish days before Group L even plays their final game, so you might end up with 3 points and a 0-goal difference. And then you just have to nervously watch and pray no other third-place team scores a late, dramatic goal to bump you out of that top 8. It is sheer agony.
Finally, Part 5, the Knockout Gauntlet. Sudden death begins right here. Once those 32 best teams survive the group stages, that 3-match safety net disappears entirely. Poof. Gone. Everything we just talked about, the points, the goal difference math, the fair play rules, it's all erased. You are entering a completely different tournament now. Because 32 teams advanced, there is that brand new hurdle they talked about, the round of 32. This means a champion must survive 5 grueling single-elimination knockout matches to lift the trophy, up from 4 in the old format. It is a true gauntlet. The physical and mental toll on these players to play 5 high-stakes, win-or-go-home matches back-to-back, it's completely unprecedented in World Cup history.
And if one of those knockout matches is tied after standard play, officials initiate this exact protocol. There are absolutely no draws anymore. If 90 minutes of regulation time isn't enough, they play an extra half hour of sheer exhaustion. And if we're still deadlocked at the end of 120 minutes, it all comes down to the terrifying lottery of a penalty shootout. Just one-on-one, striker against the goalkeeper, with the weight of an entire nation on their shoulders.
The rules in the knockouts are brutal, but they are incredibly simple. Win your match to reach the round of 16, the quarterfinals, and the semifinals, or go home immediately. The margin for error drops to absolute 0. A single mistake, a single slip on the grass, a single brilliant strike from the opposing team, and your entire World Cup journey is instantly over. 0 second chances.
So look, it's an exhausting 104-game puzzle, but understanding these underlying mechanics means you are perfectly prepared for the chaos that 2026 is going to bring. The expansion to 48 teams gives nations who have literally never had a chance a real shot at glory, especially with that third-place lifeline keeping hope alive. So I'll leave you with this. With a format this massive and unforgiving, who do you think is going to shock the world, exploit that safety net, and survive the gauntlet? Keep that question in mind as the tournament unfolds. Thanks so much for exploring this massively complex format with me, and enjoy the games.